Good morning, everybody. Hope you've had a good week and all has went well for you. And I got a big weekend planned. And thank you for taking a few moments here this morning. If you will, like, share, comment on the post, and then if you like, you can follow along with me in the book of Genesis. Genesis chapter 25. We'll be looking at verses 5 and 6. Little morbid, I guess. We're kind of sitting in on the dividing of Abraham's estate. Verse 5, it says, Abraham gave all he had to Isaac, but to the sons of his concubines Abraham gave gifts, and while he was still living, he sent them away from his son Isaac eastward to the east country. Let's deal with a couple things that pop up here. One of them is that we know that we've already saw that Abraham took a second wife. We're not sure whether he did that while Sarah was still living or not. Don't know. Don't know the circumstance around all of that. We also see here he says he has concubines. Now, some would like to point and say, well, maybe that means it's okay to have a harem. No, because Abraham did it does not mean that God approved of it. Abraham did some other things that God did not approve of. Abraham lied in some other places in his story. We know that God says, "Thou shalt not lie." God, in his wisdom, gives us in the Word of God these accounts of these characters, warts and all. He shows us their failures. If we saw a man like Abraham with no flaws and no faults and no issues, we would, well, I can't live up to that standard. So he shows us the nitty gritty of these people, and so the Old Testament doesn't condemn polygamy maybe as often as you might think, but there's enough information there, and that makes it pretty clear that God's practice is one man and one woman. And then let's deal with the main part of this story, and that is Abraham dividing up his estate. Abraham is obviously a wealthy man in all types of resources. And so here it makes it very clear that Abraham gives everything. He's looking after his son of promise. He's looking after Isaac. And so he gives Abraham everything. We know from other places he had livestock, he had servants, all of these things. Estimates say that some people have estimated that Abraham had well over 1,000 people who were under his care, family, servants, etc. Probably, I think there's little question that he was the most powerful, wealthy person in all of Canaan. He had Genesis 13 also tells us he had a lot of gold and silver, and he leaves all that to Isaac. But here we see that he also gave gifts to his 6 sons that he had with Keturah. And again, I'm sure that these were nice gifts, that he gave them enough, gave them a good gift that allowed them, because after he gave them the gift, he sent them away. I think Abraham would have given them enough good nest egg money to get them going and get them started in their own business of livestock or whatever they felt inclined to do. And then he sends them away. And it says he sends them eastward. One of the things we notice in the Old Testament is the east always symbolizes and represents wickedness. He sends them away to the east. And so the question comes then, well, why did he send these sons away from Isaac? And I think we can read between the lines here and see what Abraham was doing, and giving a good example, I guess, to all parents grandparents is that he is making sure that his son Isaac is protected, first of all, from any conflict that may arise. After he is gone. Maybe these 6 sons of Keturah might form a pact between them to come against Isaac, or conflict about who got what. All of us have probably unfortunately witnessed those kinds of debates at the time of the wheel reading, that it ends up being a conflict. And so Abraham is solving that. But I think the main thing Abraham is doing here is Abraham is making sure to remove any evil, any worldly influence from someone who may hold some influence over Isaac. They are, after all, his half brothers, and so Abraham is trying to his best to keep Isaac, I believe, separated from any ungodly influence, to protect him from anything that would be a negative influence on the life of Isaac. And so I think all that we really see going on here, you might try to read something into it or whatever, I think it's really straightforward. Abraham is just saying, I'm going to protect Isaac as best as I can. He says, I'm going to make sure that my son, even in my death, as much as possible, that I'm going to look over and be sure he's protected from any negative, any ungodly influence. Maybe like you, I too often hear parents who seem to want to take almost a hands-off approach to their children's spirituality. Well, I don't want to force my religion on them. I don't want to force them to go to church. I don't want to, I don't want to turn them against it if I force it on them. And to me, just there's a Greek word for that line of thinking. That Greek word is hogwash. Those same parents who say, I don't want to put an undue influence on my children to believe what I believe, to follow my spiritual path, will take that same child and force them into gymnastics, or force them into dance, or force them into playing sports, or force them to go to school, or force them to eat, or force them to go to bed at a certain time. Never worry about turning them against sleep, never worry about turning them against food, never worry about turning them against school. But for some reason, many parents want to take a hands-off approach, kid glove approach, if you will, to their children's spirituality. I think that contradicts everything God has designed the role of a parent to do. It is my job. It is a parent's job. Who's going to teach them if we don't? Where are they going to get their spiritual influence from? Television? Video games? School? Where are they going to get it if they don't get it from their parents? And I think in many ways we are reaping right now in our country the results of that attitude. I'm going to let my kid grow up and choose what religion and what he wants to believe. It's the only area in life that we do that with our children. For some reason, is with their beliefs about God. Abraham shows us, I'm going to do everything I can while I'm living to make sure my son is protected from any evil, ungodly, worldly influence. More of us should take that same attitude, I believe. You think about it. Have a great day. We'll see you here Monday morning.